Hello, welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, Andre C. Over here is my co-host, Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I am doing great, Andre. We have had a crazy start to this episode already. We're having a great end to the week here. But you know what? We got to watch some very interesting wrestling coming out of NJPW this week. A lot of stuff and interesting stuff coming off the controversy of Kaito and Okada last week.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, Andre, how are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely phenomenal. Again, early morning recording for us because I got to work this afternoon, so we can do a morning recording for once. So yeah, but I'm doing well. I've gotten to watch some great wrestling here. I'm starting to catch up on Stardom. I got Stardom to watch for an episode next week, and yeah, we got a lot of great content coming out for you. But like the show we're on, we're gonna be talking New Japan, and we're gonna talk the road to New Beginning Sapporo events. And there is actually 6 or 7 events, but only 2 are being televised. I found that out from speaking to Kevin Kelly on Twitter because I was noticing shows weren't being posted, and I messaged him like, "Hey, what's going on with these later January ones?" He's like, "Oh, these are just house shows," and I'm like, "Oh, awesome! I only have to review 2 shows now."
Good old Kevin Kelly, always being an excellent source of information for us.
He very much is, and the next big show will be coming out the next show Saturday, February 4th. It's gonna be a huge show because 4th and 5th. There's some huge ones. I've got the card. We'll go quickly over that at the end, but we are gonna get into this. But before we get started, I want to thank our sponsor, Rogue Energy. Scan the QR code down in the bottom right-hand corner. You can get 10% off your order using the code OLEPODS at rogueenergy.com. Thank you to Rogue Energy. You can get a nice little shaker like this.
Shaker Kawa.
My Mina Shaker Kawa, as I like to call it. So, but we are going to get into the New Japan. We're too small. There, now we're big. And we are on the road to
already small, Andre. Don't make me smaller.
We're on the road to New Beginning Sapporo events here. So we are going to kick it off. The first night, January 24th, was Great Okan, Ryohei Oiwa. It was a great wrestling from these 2 at the start. Like it was very technical. Like Oiwa was matching Khan in the wrestling ability, which was very smart. There was a great spot where Khan gets like a headlock and he's like smothering the mouth of Oiwa, and then gets a beautiful key lock. But Oiwa transitioning it to and he transitions to the armbar, but Oiwa just fighting, getting to that bottom rope. Oiwa getting the Boston Crab onto Khan, but him reversing out into a pin looked really, really good. Khan reversing out into the pin was very good. But the end of the match came. Khan hit a snap suplex with the pancake hold, as Chris Charlton called it, to the pancake hold bridge to get the win.
Yeah, this one was really, really fun. I agree. I felt Oiwa did really, really good against Okan, especially in the beginning there, matching him for everything he was kind of throwing at him. Really seemed to actually kind of frustrate Okan throughout the entire match. There was I don't know why I wrote deadline. I think it auto-corrected. I went deadlift gut wrench suplex.
Yes.
By Oiwa. That was wicked. That was great on Okan. But yeah, I also felt this was a great match. Okan really smart in starting to target that left arm of Oiwa, which kind of was supposed to I think, help detour him from doing that deadlift. However, obviously did not do so. I also felt this was a really great opener. I always like seeing the Great Okan, but putting the young lions through the ringers at the beginning, always a good chance.
Oh yeah, and Okan always looking good. Like even that match, neither of us cared for. That was him on the 22nd. Neither of us really cared. He still looked good in it. It was they still did well. I just it was a match I didn't care for.
You're talking about the one against Shingo, right?
Yeah. But we move on into a tag team match. It's Jado and Wato taking on Gedo and Taiji. So the rhyming scheme ends there.
I didn't realize the rhyme until you said it.
Well, Taiji Ishimori screws the whole rhyme up. That's the biggest problem. It's Jado and Wato versus Gedo and Taiji. That just falls apart.
And Chihuahua.
Yeah. The Bullet Club attack just after Ishimori is announced, and Ishimori getting the bell hammer on Wato on the outside early on. again, not a lot to this match. In the end, Jado, whatever you want to call it. He hits Jado Gedo hits the Jado with the brass knucks in the face. And gets the win. Again, again, Bullet Club cheating. Again, these guys aren't even close to as blatant as House of Torture is. Yes, they picked a cheat win, but they didn't spend the entire match cheating. That's the biggest thing.
This was a very almost a Oedo Tai style match. Yeah, I felt that Jumpstart obviously at the beginning from Bullet Club. Did not expect that one from these guys. The Gedo was really tossing Wato around really rough at the beginning there into the barricades on the outside. Wato really getting worked over there for a little bit at the beginning of that match. But when Gedo and Jado got in there, man, did this match turn into a brawl. It went from being a wrestling match to these guys just punching each other in the face. And I kind of liked it. Gedo getting that crossface on Jado, I was surprised he was able to keep that in. I'm not gonna lie.
And then Wato getting that arm trap headlock at the same time.
Yes, yeah,
we've pointed this out multiple times that there's a lot of especially in Japanese wrestling. One person puts a submission on, the partners put a submission on their partners to keep them from interfering. I've noticed it a lot lately in wrestling.
It must be the trend going into this year. I'm not going to complain about it. What I will complain about is Japanese wrestling referees. Stardom and NJPW, you guys are the same now. So Stardom, either stop throwing the other two partners out and trying to do the count, or NJPW start doing it. There can't be that inconsistency.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean on that. Yeah, it's huge inconsistency. So we move on from here and we go to the United Empires, Aaron Henare and Francesco Akira taking on just four guys, Douki and Taka Michinoku, or as I wrote it down, Douki Noku.
Hey, you're doing good with the name combos today, my friend.
Yeah. Again, this is another one where I didn't take a lot of notes for. It was just a lot of good back and forth. There was a great head scissors and back elbow by Douki. Look, he's pretty picture perfect. There's a beauty half and half by Akira, followed by a northern, and then Akira, and then Douki just follows it straight up with the Northern Lights. But in the end, spinning back kick by Henare to Taka, and he applies the ultimate, and Taka taps out to give Yui the win.
I really had fun with this match. I was laughing at the beginning there because I had a lot of fun with this one, especially coming out of Akira. I felt it was the personality of this match. One of my notes is Akira is feisty.
Yeah.
I just loved at the beginning point of the match there when him and Douki were having their exchange and Akira ends up on the floor and he's just sitting there yelling in Italian at him and then transitions into English. F you, Douki. F you, Douki. I'm like, oh, okay. We went there. And then I was like, wait, is he old enough to start swearing over there? He is. I think he's 22 now, 21, 22. So he is old enough to swear over there. Yeah, I don't have a whole ton to add to this except for Henare dominant in this match. He's been looking just tremendous since joining the United Empire. Really enjoyed this. That nailing, his fist to the gut though. He doesn't even try to hide that. And the ref's just sitting there like, hey, you fisted the guy. And he's just like, yeah, I fisted the guy. So had to add a little joke in there for that one. But yeah, this one was fun. I really enjoyed this one.
Oh, me too. Again, a very good match overall. Very strong. But we move on to the next match of the show. I'll just say that to Akira though, his personality is really showing.
Oh yeah.
It's very evident that this guy has such potential to be a very charismatic person for this company. And it's when he finally gets a chance to start speaking more and being that character, I think again he's very much a young Will Ospreay in that sense. Like, you look, it's the same way you looked at Ospreay. You saw how good he was, and then you saw the character coming out of him over time, and that is Francesco Akira. He is the potential to be another Ospreay in the best possible way. Yeah, and he's got the guy as a teacher, which is absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, who better than Will Ospreay? And if you guys aren't following Akira on Instagram, he is posting multiple times every day. Same with his TikTok. Give him a follow. He kind of gives you some insights into his traveling throughout Japan, but also some insights into the back kind of inner workings of the United Empire. So it's definitely like a little sneak peek. Give him a follow.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. But we move on to an 8-man tag match. It's chaos. Hirooki Goto and Yoshi-Hashi, who are Bishamon, teaming with Tomohiro Ishii and Osker Leube.
I was going to say we're saying his name wrong.
I literally wrote his name right, and then I put in parentheses how to say his last name. I'm doing that a lot now with different wrestlers. Taking on TMDK's Mikey Nicholls, Shane Haste, Zack Sabre Jr., and Kosei Fujita. Absolutely love. Again, I love TMDK. Haste and Nicholls, one of my favorite tag teams of all time. I'll say this: when Yoshi-Hashi is wearing the title belt around his waist, coming out, his armor looks better on him. It's when he takes it off, it goes, huh. And it's like
it's almost like a cardboard that's like forcefully bent, but then when you remove the belt, it flips back into place.
Yeah. Fujita and Leube started out again because it's Fujita versus the Young Lions, because everybody hates that he's part of a faction, right? Or associated to a faction. I don't think he's like full member yet, but he's like their Young Lion associate, right? Because he can't eat it. And then it all just breaks down. Chaos attacking TMDK, just a bunch of crazy there. Fujita and Sabre trading the heel hook on Leube. That was absolutely fun, and this is something that is going to keep going. We're going to talk about it on the January 21st. It's Sabre teaching them how to do heel hook, and then I think it was Haste came in, went to the heel hook, and just like started to do it, and then just like and just dropped it.
It's not his thing. It's not his thing.
I found it absolutely hilarious that he tries. It's like screw it, and just drops it. I loved it.
I mean, living up to his name.
I'll say this: Ishii and Sabre's chemistry is bonkers, and it makes me so excited for February 5th. And that TV title match, it's 15 minutes, but that's gonna be 15 amazing minutes, and I cannot wait for that, because there's a chopping exchange these two have, and they trade. Ishii has this backdrop suplex, and then they just go back into trading kicks, and another chopping exchange. It was so good. Like these guys are so phenomenal together, and I cannot wait to see that match. And then end of the match, Sabre and Fujita are double teaming Ishii, with Fujita getting 2 really close pins on Ishii, but Ishii ends up hitting a huge German suplex, applies the Boston Crab to Fujita, and then sits right down in it, and Fujita taps out. But an absolutely phenomenal match.
You got a lot of what I said in there, but what I will add is the drop kick that Fujita got off on Leube at the beginning there, sending Leube out to the outside, where he was. We got to remember, Leube is huge. He's very, very tall. He dwarfed everybody in the ring. He almost dwarfed Shane Haste. And Shane Haste is a big guy. Fujita showing a Kevin Knight-esque style athleticism, catching Leube right in the chest. That was great. The other thing I wanted to say is Zack Sabre Jr.'s freaking kicks on Ishii there were absolutely brutal. He was throwing those as hard as he could, and I absolutely loved the noise coming off of them. You almost thought that he would almost hit Ishii in the back, and his neck would actually extend. Never know. Last thing I wanted to just say with Fujita, once he did get into the Boston Crab being applied by Ishii there, what I really enjoyed about it was that he didn't tap right away. He was in it for a fair amount of time, even pushing up and making progress towards the ropes before Ishii was like, "No, little boy, sit down and scream." And he did.
Yep. Very much so.
Match. This was fun.
A very fun match. And we move on. And just one more thing. I love the fact that Ishii's playing with Sabre. That Sabre will have to take 2 to 3 kicks or 2 to 3 strikes to equal Ishii, and I love that because I hate again, Sabre is smaller than Ishii. He should not be damaging Ishii the same much as Ishii damages him. Like it may, and I like the way that they played off each other. And if Sabre's been doing that with a lot of guys lately, I think it's just pretty much just saying he's like, let me hit you 2 or 3 times to your one hit because it makes more sense.
I have to agree, and we actually see another example of this that I wrote down, I believe, in the next show.
Like when he was against Narita, they're similar frames, so 1-to-1 that's fine. But when you're going up against an Ishii, he should be having to hit him 3 times, equal what that one smack from Ishii means, and that's what 100%. I really love. That's why I'm so excited for that match.
100%, it's going to be a brawl.